So have a seat. Find your straight aligned spine. And just kind of take a moment to settle into your body. Maybe even take that nice deep inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Just make sure that everything feels settled and aligned and relaxed. Feel into every single part of your body. And then start to breathe a little deeper and a little slower. Start noticing your thoughts, not so much what you're thinking, but more the speed and quality of your thoughts. Notice your emotions. Notice your energy. And then let's go ahead and bring palms together in front of the heart. Take a moment to set your personal intention for your practice today. When you're clear on that, take a deep inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. We're going to stay seated for a moment. If your legs are crossed, you can put your hands on your knees. If your legs are extended, you can tuck your hands under your thighs. We're just going to do kind of a seated cat-cow, but I want you to keep your chin parallel to the floor, so don't whip your head back and forth. We don't want to do that. We just want to inhale and push the rib cage forward, and exhale and pull the rib cage back. So it's kind of like inhale, sternum forward, exhale, sternum back. Do that a few more times. So one last one. And then as you finish that exhale, just go ahead and transition onto your hands and knees, and we'll do the full-on cat-cow. And this time your head can follow the movement. So as you inhale, let the chest move forward, head and tailbone up. And as you exhale, head and tailbone drop, and your low back moves up. Inhale to arch the back, and exhale to round. One more. And then on your next exhale, you'll go ahead and take child's pose, but I'd like you to take the knees apart and keep your arms extended. Initially, we're going to do this extended child's pose. So just let your forehead rest down. The arms can relax so the elbows can bend a little bit. Just kind of let your rib cage nestle down. And then from here, we'll scoot forward into Sphinx. Big toes are touching, heels are dropping open. Shoulders pull down the back, and the chest should be pulling forward. So you really want to maximize not only the spinal elongation, but also the opening of the chest. And then from here, we'll just take our first downward facing dog. Remember, it's okay to pedal out your feet a little bit if you need to. Just really lengthening the spine. And then you can walk your feet forward. Keep those knees bent, totally relax your neck, hang and ragdoll. And I want you to notice that with the knees bent, it's pretty easy to tip your pelvis forward to kind of get towards getting front of the hip bones onto the top of the thighs. So our forward bends here are really nice counter poses to some of the other stuff we'll be doing. So I'll be having you linger in forward bends, just so that you know. And you want to focus on the pelvis. So inhale now, come all the way up, reach the arms up and overhead, spread your fingers, lift your chest, and look up. One more breath here. And then on your next exhale, just bring your palms together in front of your heart. Lift your toes, spread them out, lift the heels, get them planted. Really plant your feet, connect downward to the earth. And then inhale, reach the arms up, stretch up. And as you exhale, fold forward into a forward bend. Remember, I want you to focus on letting the pelvis tip forward in your forward bend. And then even if you have to keep your knees bent, fingers are going to stay on the ground. Look up and lengthen and really pull your chest forward. And then back down. Step back with your left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. And then we're going to drop the left knee down. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tilt your pelvis back now. Lift the rib cage up a little bit. Let the hips move forward. And then if it feels okay, I want you to think of your rib cage almost like a wheel, and you're going to just slightly roll it back, not to the point of discomfort. And if you've got your pelvis tilted back, your low back should stay decompressed. So I want the rib cage to lift. Everybody's a little different. Roll it back to the degree that's comfortable for you. Then let the arms come out to the sides. Palms are facing up. Then allow the hands to continue down, interlacing behind the back, squeezing shoulder blades together. You can just keep your hands on your left glute or below it. Just squeeze shoulder blades together and maybe look up. Hands come down on either side of your right foot. Gaze forward for that nice flat back. Fully extend your right leg, and once it's straight, or as straight as you can get it, you're going to flex the ankle and toes. And then from here, bring the right knee back to meet the left knee. Knees together now if you can. Traditional Balasana or child's pose. Backside to heels, forehead down, hands by feet. So this is a considerably more rounded back posture than your first child's pose, which was an extended child's pose. From here, those of you that do traditional vinyasas, you're welcome to take off. The rest of you guys, I'd like you to slide forward for me and try and do a low cobra. So that means tops of the feet are on the mat, but your feet are together. Your hands are right under your shoulders. The shoulders roll down and back. And we're just going to peel the chest up a little bit, not a lot. And then downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, we're going to take the left foot forward. Hold your lunge. And then go ahead and drop right knee down. Arms are going to come up and overhead. We tilt the pelvis back, lift the rib cage a little. Let the hips move forward. And then once you get that stretch on the front of your right hip, lift the rib cage up. And again, it's almost like it's a small wheel that slightly rolls back.
Allow the arms to come out to the side, palms up. Let the hands float down behind you, interlacing fingers, squeezing shoulder blades together. And then we're going to bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Fully extend your left leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Pull your heart forward. And then just step forward to your standing forward bend. And I want you to focus on letting that be initiated from the pelvis. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up, maybe even back a little bit. And then exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up, maybe back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway, heart pulls forward. Exhale, back down. Step back with your left leg again. Now you have a couple of options here, and it won't make any difference to the upper body part of your practice. You may stay in a high lunge, or for whatever reason, you are more than welcome to drop that left knee down if balance is hard, or if you're weak, if your legs are a little weak and they don't want to do this, whatever's best for you. I'll hold a high lunge, but you can have your left knee down. We're going to go ahead and raise the arms up and overhead again. Pelvis can sink. Then I want you to start bending your elbows and squeezing them down and back. It's kind of like you're trying to squeeze the elbows together behind you. Then if that feels okay, roll the chest back a little bit. So it's that same rolling backward of the rib cage. Go ahead and bring your hands down on either side of your right foot, gaze forward, and begin to straighten your right leg. So this whole series can be done with that back knee down if you need to. Some of this can be a little bit challenging balance-wise, so please take care of yourself. We're working on opening up the heart, so if you need to take it easier on the legs, you do that. And then from here, those of you doing vinyasas, off you go. The rest of us are going to go ahead and move into a traditional child's pose if you can. That's with the knees together and the hands back by the feet. And then scoot forward into either a Sphinx or the low cobra that we did last time, which really helps open the heart by squeezing shoulder blades together, letting the heart move forward. And then we'll do downward facing dog. From this down dog, we're going to take the left foot forward. Remember, it is okay to drop the right knee if you want to. We'll come up, arms are up and overhead. Pelvis tilts back. Hips are dropping a little bit. Rib cage is lifting. Then we bend the elbows and start to squeeze them down and back. Like we're trying to squeeze our elbows behind us. And then maybe even roll the rib cage back a little bit. Go ahead and come on up, bring hands on either side of the left foot, gaze forward, and begin to straighten your left leg. From here, we're going to step forward to a standing forward bend. Remember, hip bones tip forward onto your thighs. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, come to prayer position in front of the heart. Turn sideways. Take a nice wide side step. So we're gonna rotate left foot in and right foot out and come into warrior two. Then I'd like you to interlace your fingers behind your back. You're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades together. And for just a moment, lift your chest and kind of roll it back, kind of like we've been doing. Then we're gonna come up and fold forward, keeping fingers interlaced. And once we get into our forward bend with that right knee still bent, I want you to just squeeze your shoulder blades together and start reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Come all the way back up. Release the arms and straighten your right leg. So we're gonna lengthen out for triangle pose and go ahead and find your triangle. Spine is lengthened. And then what we're gonna do is just use this as a little bit of a heart opener. So we're gonna twist our triangle a tiny bit, not a revolved triangle, just a slight twist. So your left hip bone, I want you to kind of let it point down towards the mat. So your pelvis kind of drops where it's facing the mat, but the left side of your rib cage is gonna rotate back. So for you guys with happy shoulders, your left arm is gonna be reaching way behind you. I'm gonna keep my hand at my waist because I don't have a happy shoulder today, but my rib cage can rotate and I can still find that stretch on the left side of the chest. Come on up from that. Rotate your right foot in, left foot out. Bend your left knee, arms are out to the side, warrior two. From here, we interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and I want you to just keep the hands low. Shoulder blades are squeezed. Let the chest kind of start to roll back so that it's facing the ceiling. And then we come on back up and fold forward, relaxing the neck, keeping shoulder blades squeezed and reaching those arms up towards the ceiling. Come all the way back up. Release the arms, straighten your left leg. Lengthen out towards the left. Find your triangle pose. So you want to go ahead and get your proper alignment first, and then we mess with it. So in this case, your right hip bone is going to kind of drop down towards the mat, and your right rib cage and maybe right arm are going to roll open or back. So it's almost like you're twisting at the waist, but what you should feel is a nice stretch on the right side of your chest. Come all the way back up. Rotate left foot in, and then just bring the heels in a little bit. So what that does is make sure your stance not quite as wide and your feet are rotated out. We're gonna do a quick cactus goddess pose. So that's basically that same arm position that we had earlier with our elbows bent, squeezing the elbows down behind us, but we're gonna bend the knees and press them out. We're gonna hold it for 3 breaths. All right, so here we go. I want you to bring your elbows to 90 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and bend the knees, press them out towards the little toes, start squeezing the shoulder blades down the back. The elbows are down and moving towards each other. Keep your knees pressing out, breathe. And then straighten your legs, relax your arms, bring your feet back in, roll your shoulders back. And then come back to the front of the mat, feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach up and maybe even back a little bit. Exhale, fold forward, initiating your forward bend from your pelvis. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale back down. Step back onto your hands and knees. You can give yourself a little tail wag if you need to. And then we're gonna do our half heart opener pose. You're gonna bring your left forearm across the front of the mat. Your right forearm's gonna reach forward. You want your elbows straight. Forehead rests on the left forearm, tailbone pulls back, and that right armpit just kind of drapes down towards the mat. And then we'll just switch sides. Right forearm across the front of the mat. Left arm reaches out. Tailbone pulls back. And the chest just sinks. Come on out of that. Give yourself another tail wag if you would like. And then we're gonna go ahead and come on up for a half camel and then a full camel today. So for those of you who don't have particularly healthy, happy backs, it's okay to keep the hands at the hips the entire time. Just know that. It's also okay to use your block if you prefer. Some of you guys will actually reach for your heels. That's awesome. But remember, it doesn't matter. So I don't want you guys to hurt yourselves trying to make this look a certain way. It's just about making the chest open. So we're going to start with a half heart opener first. I want you to put your right hand on your sacrum, right up above your right bun. Push the hips forward and kind of tuck your tailbone under. Lift your rib cage straight up towards the ceiling. Then we start that rolling back motion. And the left arm with the palm up is going to just reach back as the rib cage rolls. Now, this is a perfect place to end your pose. Those of you that would like to can reach the right hand back for the right heel. You don't have to. You can also use a block, but you can keep your hand on your hip if you like. Come on up from that. Same thing on the other side. Left hand at the sacrum. Push the hips forward, tuck the tailbone under, lift the rib cage up, and start to roll it back. Right arm reaches up and back. And then if you want to, left hand can find left heel. Come all the way back up and just pause for a moment. Roll your shoulders back. All right, so as we go into full camel, same thing applies. Both hands can stay on the hips to support your back. It does not matter how far back you go. Maybe you're barely rolling the rib cage back. If you feel the chest opening, that's perfect, right? None of this matters what it looks like. So let's all start the same way. Hands on the hips, tuck the tailbone under, push the hips forward. Lift the rib cage up and start to roll back. You can keep your hands on your hips, or you can reach back for the heels if you like. Make sure your thighs stay relatively close to vertical. And come on up from that. We're going to move into traditional child's pose. Knees together, forehead down, hands back by the feet, palms up. One more breath into your low back. And then you can either take a traditional vinyasa or scoot forward into either Sphinx or Cobra. And then downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, we're going to walk the feet forward. Big inhale, come all the way up. Palms together in front of the heart. So we're going to be doing dancer pose as our balance, but we're going to be doing it a little differently today. You've done quite a bit of interlacing the fingers behind the back. It's kind of gonna look like this, but with a foot in your hands, because we're gonna use our leg strength to open the chest. Now, for those of you who cannot clasp a foot with both hands, you have a couple of options. You can do one arm at a time, that's fine. You could also use a strap. If you can clasp your foot with both hands, but your balance challenged, put a shoulder towards one wall, that's helpful. Basically, you're not going to be able to do that open palm grip. It's going to be a closed grip as we reach back. So that's kind of how I'm going to cue it. And there's no leaning. We're going to stay vertical today. So standing on your right foot, I want you to just take your hands in a neutral grip. In other words, your palms are facing inward. You're just going to reach them back. Bend your left knee. See if you can grab your left foot, ankle, or even your pants with both hands. And if that's not accessible to you, it's okay. Lift your chest. Start to push your left foot back strongly, using leg strength so that you're pressing the arms back to feel opening on the front of the shoulders and across the chest. Release left foot down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to stand on your left foot. Hands are going to just reach behind you. Bend your right knee. See if you can clasp right foot or ankle with both hands. And then lift the chest. Push your right foot strongly behind you. So we're using leg strength to open up the chest here. And release your right foot down. Roll your shoulders back, feet together, palms together. Big inhale, reach up. And then exhale and fold all the way forward. Initiating it from your pelvis. This should feel pretty good, right? This is your counter pose. So you're trying to get the front part of the hip bone onto the top of the thigh. Look up and lengthen. And then back down. Step back onto hands and knees if you're doing an easier flow with me. Otherwise, you can step back into plank and do your full vinyasa. We're going to take our child's pose. And then scoot forward into Sphinx. And then downward facing dog. Really take the opportunity here to lengthen your spine in your down dog. And then you can simply walk your feet forward. Have a seat. We'll just take a moment in Dandasana to check in. So make sure you're on your sit bones. Nice straight spine. Double check body, breath, mind, heart, energy, and intention. And then just slide your hands a little farther back. So if they were by your backside, slide them back a little more. All we're going to do is lift the chest straight up towards the ceiling and then push it forward. When you do that, you're going to feel your shoulder blades squeeze together. If it feels okay, let the head drop back. And then we'll just walk the hands forward from there and come into a forward bend. And it's the forward bend of your choice. So if you need to keep a neutral spine, you lengthen forward. If you'd like a little bit more of a back stretch, you can round forward. It's your choice. Come on up from that. You're going to take the legs wide, toes point up, feet are flexed. So here's the deal. If your hips are tight and you normally have your hands behind your backside, that's fine, but I'm gonna make you move them closer together so your shoulder blades are squeezed as you press forward. Now, if you have the hip mobility to take your hands off the floor and stay on the sit bones, you will be interlacing the fingers behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades and lifting the arms so that as you push your chest forward, it's impossible to round the back here, right? So we squeeze shoulder blades together, take the chest forward, and just breathe. Come on up from that, release, roll your shoulders back. Bring the legs together, give them a good wiggle. And then I'd like you to go ahead and grab your block. So we'll be doing a few things with the block today. If you have a folded up blanket instead of a block, it should still work. It's just going to be slightly different. Now, it depends upon your back, whether you go mid-level or flat level. So the first position, and most of you guys have done this with me before, the first position is going to have your block parallel to the long sides of the mat. And as you know, hopefully you know, I only have two non-negotiable rules. One is that your legs stay bent, and two is that the block is never in the low back. It's from the bottom of the rib cage up. Now, if you have neck issues and you need some extra neck support, you can either have a second block or a pillow under your head, or you'll be able to interlace your fingers behind your head to hold it up and just let the elbows drop wide. So I'm going to be going mid-level, but you don't have to. You might want to be at the lowest level of your block. It should be running up and down the length of your spine, right? So up and down the length of your mat. We're going to start with the knees bent because that's the smartest, easiest way to do it, and then not straighten the legs, right? We're going to keep them bent. I like to position my block just at the bottom of my rib cage and then start to recline back over it. Now, once you get here, again, if you need to, hands can be behind the head to support it, and you just let your elbows drop wide and you'll still get a great chest stretch. If your neck is pretty happy, you're welcome to just let the head hang back and let the arms open out, palms up. We're here for 6 breaths, so please make sure you're comfortable. Now, it is of the utmost importance that you not sit up to come off of your block. Please just kind of roll off to one side and then use your hand in front of your chest to press you back up. So if you recline over a block and then you sit up and jerk your head forward, you will undo all the goodness that you just did. So we're going to do the same thing, but this time the block is going to go crosswise across the mat. So now it's parallel to the short sides of the mat, right? What we were just doing was opening the rib cage of the chest side to side. Now we're going to open it bottom to top. So we get on the block the same way. The knees are bent. We bring the block to the bottom of the rib cage, or you can have it slightly higher, but not a lot higher. And then we start to recline back. You decide, do you need to support the head and neck, or do you want to let the head drop back and allow the arms to open out? You should be comfortable here. Same thing, you guys. Don't sit up. Roll off to one side. Press yourself up to sitting. Grab your block. And then go ahead and roll back down onto your back and hug your knees in and rock side to side. So you might feel some exciting sensations around your shoulder blades. That's okay. Excitement is good. If you feel anything that's beyond excitement, meaning painful, that's not good. We're not trying to cause pain. We're just trying to wake some things up and open them. So from here, we're going to put the feet on the mat, knees bent, feet flat, big toes touching, heels separated. We're going to use the block for supported bridge now. And usually in this class, I just have us stay low level. But since we're working on all this heart opening, I want you to take it to whatever level is appropriate for you, which means we're going to start flat. Some of you guys will stay flat. Then we're going to take it to mid-level. If you're using a towel or a blanket, you'll fold it higher. Maybe one or two of you guys has the capacity to go high level. And if you do, I'm not stopping you today. I want you to find a really comfortable heart opening pose. So lift your bum, put your block under you at the lowest level. I want everybody to start at the lowest level because I want you to see where on your sacrum the block is supporting that gives you a neutral, comfortable spine. If this is a good place for you to stay, enjoy yourself and breathe. If you want to go up to mid-level, you make sure that the block is supporting your pelvis in that same spot so that you still have a comfortable, neutral spine. And you see how you feel here. And if you're going to stay here, awesome. You keep breathing and enjoy yourself. If you're one of the few people who has the capacity to go ahead and take it higher, I'm not holding you back today. Make sure your pelvis is supported, that your big toes are still touching, heels are separated, and breathe. Two more breaths, you guys. On your next inhale, you'll lift up, move the block out from underneath you, let your spine roll down onto the mat, and then hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. You might even want to put your hands on your kneecaps and keeping knees together. Draw some circles in the air with your knees. That's kind of nice for getting all around the low back and sacrum. And if you do that, make sure you go both ways. And then just grab your block again. You're going to put it at the skinniest level between your knees. And I want you to drop your knees over to the right. And I'd like you to actually use your right hand on your left knee. Maybe even slide it forward a little more. Because as you rotate open and let your left arm open out to the left with the palm up and turn your head to the left, I'd love it if you could get a tiny bit of space under the left shoulder blade so that you can feel some chest opening here. Now, some of you guys are super pliable. And no matter what you do, your left shoulder blade is going to be on the ground and your knees are going to be together. And that just means that you have achieved a beautifully open chest and you get to relax and enjoy. The rest of us are going to let this left arm get a little bit of extra weight so that we can feel it on the left side of our chest. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your knees with the block between them back up
And you're gonna drop them over to the left and hold your knees down with your left hand. Make sure that when you open your right arm out to the right and your head turns to the right, that maybe, if possible, you have a little bit of space underneath your right shoulder blade. So whatever you need to do to get a slight stretching sensation in the right side of the chest, if possible, do that. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and bring the legs back up. Take the block out from between them. Hug your knees in. Rock side to side. So we are going to use the block again. I want you to go ahead and grab it. Remember, this is not so that I can torture you. This is so that we can unwind your back from backward bending postures. So I want you to take your block at the mid-level. Put it between your thighs as close to your pubic bone as you can. Your legs are going to stick straight up in the air and you're going to flex the feet. Squeeze your block. Interlace your fingers behind your neck and point your elbows at the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Flatten your back. Exhale, squeeze your block as you crunch up, elbows towards your thighs. Stay up until there's no air left in your lungs. Inhale down. We're only doing 2 more. Hold your breath, flatten the back. Exhale, squeeze your block tightly as you're crunching up and emptying your lungs. Inhale down. Hold the breath, flatten the back. Exhale, crunch up, squeeze the block with your thighs. Reach your feet for the ceiling. Breathe all of the air out. And then release. Put your feet on the ground. Take your block. Final move with the block. I promise after this you can ditch it. You're going to take the block and put it underneath your head, flat like a pillow. Make sure that your face feels parallel to the floor, so you don't let the chin too far up or too far down. Your legs are going to straighten out on the mat, and then you're going to make your knees and thighs roll in towards each other. Hands are going to reach straight up towards your ceiling, and then you're just pushing through the back of the head to lift your shoulder blades and chest up off the floor. So in other words, right now, your legs and your backside are on the floor. The back of your head is on your block, but your upper torso is not touching anything. You're off the floor. Lower down, relax your arms, relax your legs. We're going to do that one more time. Roll your knees and thighs in towards each other. Reach the hands straight up. Push through the back of your head. Lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. So think about trying to get air underneath your upper back. If I were there, I should be able to slide my hand underneath your upper back and not touch you at all. 2 more breaths. Lower down. Take the block out from between your head. Set it off to the side. You're done with your block. Yay! Hug your knees in and rock side to side. And then from here, we're going to put the feet flat on the mat. I want you to just let your knees drop open, soles of the feet together. Slide your arms along the floor until they're up and over your head. Interlacing the fingers, but extending the index fingers straight. The next time you breathe in, you're going to reach for all your worth through the tips of your index fingers and press the knees down towards the mat. So you should feel the bottom part of your rib cage lift here. It's your final
tiny heart opener. Keep breathing. On your next exhale, totally relax your body. Unlace your fingers. Let the hands come all the way back down below the shoulders, palms up like they will for Shavasana. And then the next time you breathe in, flatten your back. Press your low back into the mat. Hold it there while you breathe. On your next exhale, release the tension. Allow the curve to come back into your spine. Bring your knees back up towards each other. Walk the feet apart. Let your knees prop together for a moment with the feet walked apart. And then just extend your legs. Separate your feet. Roll your legs in and out a few times, and then just let them flop. We want the hips, thighs, knees, ankles, feet to be totally relaxed. Then make sure that your glutes are relaxed. Lengthen the low back. Create space between the shoulder blades. Create space between the ears and shoulders. Lengthen your neck. Allow your jaw to relax, the eyes to close, the forehead to smooth out. And then take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Let your body relax. So you're going to feel your muscles get heavier. You're going to feel yourself just kind of melting into the floor. You're going to feel your breath get a lot softer and gentler and shallower. And that's really a good thing. It means your body has relaxed. So as you settle into this beautiful, sweet, relaxed state, I want you to bring your awareness to the center of your chest. And don't do anything to manipulate the breath, so don't control it at all. But I want you to notice how at the end of the inhale, you can actually feel the space around your heart expanding. And as you're exhaling, you can feel that space slightly contract. So we do these heart opening practices for a couple of reasons. One is that as the heart opens, emotions can be released. So we'll frequently find that if we are feeling grief or disappointment or something that you might consider to be a heavy emotion, you can let it go when you open up the heart. It's like you're making space and allowing it to leave. And it makes space and allows in joy, gratitude, basically who we are at our core, our true nature. It's joy, it's love. And that creates space for that to come in. We don't just do this once and then we're good. It's kind of like taking a shower, right? You take a shower and you're cleansed and you're fresh and clean and you feel great, but then life, and pretty soon you have to take another shower. So these heart opening practices, I think of them as like that. It's a way to purify
the heart, a way to empty out the things that need to be emptied out, a way to create space for what needs to come in. So it's like a shower for your heart, right? You're washing away the sadness, the grief, the disappointment, whatever it is. And you're allowing in the joy and the gratitude, which is, again, all of our true inner nature. And it's what we need. It's what we thrive on. It's who we are. So for the next couple of minutes, just feel that. Feel everything that's not in your highest good, just leaving you as that space is created around your heart, and feel the joy just pouring in. And just start noticing how that changes things. Checking in first with your body. How do you feel physically, having lightened the load, so to speak, having cleansed your heart? Notice thoughts and emotions. Particularly notice your energy. And then just start to deepen your breath a little bit. Start to move your fingers and toes. And as you're ready, spread the fingers and toes. Exhale through your mouth as you relax them. Deeper inhale, reaching through arms and legs to stretch even deeper. Exhale and relax. Bend the knees. Roll to your right. Press yourself up into sitting. So today, if it feels appropriate, only if it feels appropriate, I'm going to have you come into Gyan Mudra or Yogi Mudra, which is touching the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb and letting the hands rest palms up on the knees or thighs. So a little background on this hand position so that you know why I've asked you to do it. The index finger represents the individual and the thumb represents source energy, creation, big love, God, whatever you call that thing that is so much larger than us. And it's about wisdom and knowledge, and it signifies that we don't have all the wisdom, we get it from some higher source, right? It's also yoga, which is union, right? We're reconnecting with our source energy. So when those two points touch, the tip of the index finger and the tip of the thumb, that's what that symbolizes. Palms up is a receptive energy. It just means we're open to receiving knowledge. We're open to receiving love, right? So if that feels okay, do that. And if not, you can just let your hands rest down on the knees or thighs. Go ahead and have a straight spine and close your eyes. Today we're going to do Aham Graha, which is the effortless breath. So you don't have to do anything with your breathing. I want you to just let it stay even and gentle. Just let your breath be as it is. And I want you to start noticing on the inhales that you can feel the breath moving up the nostrils and the sinuses towards your third eye point. So the breath is moving up towards that point between your eyebrows. Just focus on that sensation for a moment. Every inhale, the breath is moving up towards the third eye. And then as you're noticing that sensation of breath moving up the sinuses towards the third eye, notice that at the end of your inhale, you can feel that little bit of expansion around your heart space. So you should be able to feel both of those at the same time. And then still being aware of the sensation of the inhale moving through the sinuses towards the third eye point, the sensation of additional space around the heart towards the end of the inhale. Also notice that you can have a generalized awareness of the crown of your head. And then keeping the eyes closed, just one more time, checking in with your body, your breath, your mind, your heart, your energy. Slowly bring your palms together in front of the heart that you've just cleansed and opened, the heart that you've just filled with joy and love and gratitude. And just take a moment, truly, in gratitude that we can do this practice, that we can reunite with our source energy, that we can, in fact, find and be that love. One more huge inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, just as a reminder to be present and stay present. Palms to the lips as a reminder to speak our truth. Palms to the heart as a reminder to keep our hearts open, to keep them cleaned out and filled with love, filled with gratitude, to always practice kindness and compassion and unconditional love. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.